Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm privileged to welcome a very senior and accomplished professional, originally from Italy, but speaking to us from the United Kingdom today, Mr. Luca Collina. Luca, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, and thank you to give me this opportunity to speak
Thank you.
to a lot of people, I feel.
Thank you. Luca is an award winner and thought leader. He's an award-winning global transformational expert, and he's one of the world-renowned thought leaders with Thinkers 360 in automation, culture, and transformation. And today we're going to speak to Luca about transformation. So Luca, tell me a little bit about your own background and what got you interested in transformation.
Okay, my background is diverse because I started as a business analyst, then I moved to consultancy, then I went back to a change agent, project manager, and since 2017, I started again the consultancy activity, and with the participation of a big, quite challenging project across Italy, China, and Tunisia. In that period, I matured the idea that the feeling 2017 was characterized by different European events, okay, and the war for tariffs between USA and China, and then I said we needed to do something different. So I founded my company that is called Transfer Age, meaning Age of Transform. And then there is an acronym that is TCA, but that was at the beginning for me. Time to change attitude. Then I moved away from the classic approach because I had to work in a different way across countries. And this is the reason why I've seen that we had to, not to change because it's a true radical term, but to transform, keeping something what is good and try to adapt to something that is changed. But it wasn't based on COVID and so on. It was based on my feeling. So that is the starting point for me to check transformation.
How wonderful. So when you talk of transformation, what do you believe are the biggest challenges businesses face when it comes to automation and digital transformation?
Well, I just experienced the problem with automation. Okay, automation is the first level of fear for employees. It's normal, I can understand, because there are too many stuff that is going around, people write something that is not appropriate, and in the end you can mitigate this when you involve people to work and develop the bots, okay, and they get the distance factor is reduced, so they put hands on and say, oh well, this is not substituting me. And digital transformation is okay, in the big companies, there are two factors. The first one is legacy system. They worked with the legacy system until before the day that they start. Then you have, oh my God, the digital guys, that they have a great literacy and experience. And there are a lot of, not conflicts, but you need to find an alignment, removing the fears from the IT. Security and so on, and the digital that needs to understand what is there, not proposing, say this is better. These are the two main challenges before starting.
Very interesting. Very great response. Thank you. My next question to you, Luca, is how can companies balance the benefits of automation with the potential risks to employment and job security?
Okay, let's start from the level of automation. Firstly, we are not ready to implement artificial intelligence with automation. We are in the starting adoption curve. People that are excited, CEOs that want to save money with people, and the early adopters. So let's start speaking about automation. The only thing that I have found compelling now with the 4 projects in a medium-sized company is simple. You put people in front of the table. You ask them to learn the basic of coding. I did as experience on my own 2 processes. They say it's no brain. And they realize that this only bringing them benefits. Because when you see that to post 3,000 invoices in 2 weeks, you can see that you spend a lot of time. And you can see that you spend 1 day reconciling and check what the bot has done.
Right.
People are happy. So reducing the distance between what is spoken about and what they can do, hands-on. So at least I hope that for the next 5 years, this is the fact that it took almost for digital transformation. Nobody will dare to have a full automated process in the hands of artificial intelligence just to reach the scenario of Terminator of Matrix, okay? Because it's not reliable. You can't give to artificial intelligence.
Right.
So, no, some jobs can be affected, but they can also be reallocated inside because they have more time and experience. Depends on CEOs, consultants, because they have a different view of things. So it's a question of being tactical and communicate and ask people to make experience. There is nothing wrong.
Very interesting. And Luca, what, in your opinion, is the role that leadership plays in driving successful digital transformation and fostering a culture of innovation?
Oh, this is the most tricky question that you could ask me. But let's say that, let's see the leader as a person that has 3 characteristics. One is wise. Realize that the board is changing. It's changed already. Secondly, I think that I don't speak about EM, but every good leader has a purpose, okay? The real purpose. I don't say like him, but the purpose is something that can really shape the culture of innovation, because we start from there. And if you consider that the majority of the great resignations in the last 2 years happened because they couldn't find something valuable in the companies as a value. It's no brain to put together and develop this.
Correct.
Secondly, the last one is simple. You need to walk the talk. So there is nothing else you need to show with actions. Actions are promote a safe environment, psychologically, so people can do experimentations. You can call agile, agility, whatever. You need to experiment. You start small because there's a big impact. People need to learn. And then you need to foster and support with fact the organization. There are 3 elements, and the 2 of them are related to the mindset of the leadership. They are not about the type of leadership. No, it's simple. Simple. Okay. For
Very
me,
interesting.
now,
Yeah. But, since you said you found it simple, what are some of the challenges you have faced in implementing digital transformation?
the first one is the lack of knowledge about what is a digital strategy. Because it's quite different. You have a tool and you need to use your business strategies to try to align as much as you can to the tool, and then see if we are doing the right things. So if the business strategy is aligned with what digital can do. This is the bigger challenge, because people knows how to make strategies. Okay, they can think about it. They can invent solutions again. But then when they turn on the right and they see the digital strategy, through my assessments, I can see that there is a little bit disalignment. But also based on the presumption that they can use digital, but digital needs to have a little bit of humility to understand, oh, it's something new, what they can do, what they are requiring. It's the biggest one.
Right. And you know, when you speak, when you talk about the importance of employee engagement and buy-in, why do you think employee engagement and buy-in is important for transformation to succeed?
Because they are going to do the job.
I agree.
And now, I would like to change buy-in for two reasons. The first one is that buy-in reminds me the top-down approach. Okay, so do it. Okay, and you need to push. People are fed up to be pushed. And secondly is the second key word is involvement, active involvement. As I said before, people are in charge, being accountable, to do experimentation, try to find the best solution within their processes, so you don't need to push. And you move from buy-in, please accept, and to manage different types of resistance that are different based on the people, the knowledge, so you need to intervene and support them, because they are the key resources to change technology. And there is nothing more to say. I love the idea I did already for automation, that the bottom-up approach or something hybrid, because someone needs to decide where they want to have efficiency, okay? But then they work on it. So the hybrid or bottom-up approach is what we need now and for the next years.
Wonderful, thank you. The other question, and I have faced this myself when we, you know, in organizations that I was leading, most people prefer status quo. People don't like change. How do you, as a transformation guru, encourage organizations and people to transform?
Based on the big intensive program involving 3 different countries, different national culture, different business etiquette, I matured the idea that you have 3 kinds of resistance, just to have a sort of compass that helps you to navigate, you know, the chaos of the people that are rejecting proposal. First one is the classic, political, the chair, the power, I am this, and you can't act against these people because they want to keep the status quo because they have advantages. What I found compelling is to create some, let's call a center of excellence, a group of experts, where you put this people of the same level or a little bit lower together, because they are expected to work together as in a cross-functional way. Because, okay, so in that moment, you try to break the sides. However, what I have seen that people self-exclude from the group because there are common sense people that they are happy to work better and less, and they believe in what the parent company said to them, and the others that still keep going to sometimes invent or manufacturing some excuses. People, I had 2 people, two managers, that one accepted that it was convenient also for them because for incentives. The other resigned. Okay, this is the first level because people, you put people together, they can't refuse or reject. If you have the majority of people, no, why? They can understand the logic behind.
Correct.
Okay, then there is another level that is the cultural resistance, and here there are not so many opportunities. You need to understand to find, as I repeat, something that is common, not very sophisticated, but for example, in my experience, I sold the business value. We work together, we are so far each other. Let's find out how to be the first in producing something. In another situation, I have seen that there was the purpose. Everybody wanted something to work, something that was beyond of the business, because it was enough anymore. And the last one is emotional. People are different. You can't cope with mitigating this kind of resistance. However, and I return back to my view, center of excellence, value, purpose, work together, thinking about how to work and live better in a safe environment, people became calmer because they touch with their hands what they need to do.
Correct.
This is what I found compelling, and I will use for the rest of my life, because you don't need to push or create buy-in.
Very well said. Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. My next question, Luca, is that I want to ask you, what is the role of technology when it comes to transformation? And how can we ensure that technology can benefit everyone when you look at transformation?
Okay, transformation itself is not dangerous. But if we start to think something that is above the firms, I think that with the case of AI, regulations and some basic rules can help to avoid the Wild West, okay, and promote gradually the inclusion of different people with different skills.
Correct.
To fit somehow. My wife is not able to create a prompt, and she refused. I am able to create a prompt because I experimented the situation, but I stopped there. So I will transfer her something because she's against artificial intelligence. Companies, we have spoken about inclusion. Okay, this is another piece of elements that you need to consider. I don't want to make it simple, but I can't find anything else apart of the rubbish that I can see in the web.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
And my next question, Luca, is how can companies or businesses measure the success of transformation?
Okay, I don't know if you will like my answer, but okay,
No.
The first thing to consider that there is a go live, of course, but it's not like the go live of CRM or ERP, okay, or migrating to cloud. The adoption is the first thing that you can measure, because you can ask people, you can check the processes and so on, basic controls. The second point is not the adoption, but is the normalization process. How people can react positively to what you have implemented, because maybe in the next 1 year, you need to change again to upgrade the digital transformation. So you do some pieces and bits. And the basic metrics at the beginning for digital are related to websites, visit people, social media engagement, basic stuff. Okay, so you can see, people are engaging more, or retention for e-commerce, so it's not difficult. After a period of time, you need to see also other classic metrics, sales, retention, people, qualitative analysis that now it's very easy to do is a sentiment analysis, because it's not rocket science. You have an idea, a perfume or whatever, and then you can mitigate or increase the strategies. And this is a journey that starts, but never ends, because you must be ready to adapt. Digital transformation is not a classic.
Wonderful.
How you move, how you agile you are, flexible to use what you have and adapt. That is looking at the past is gone, because the world is now accepting you or what you have implemented, shared as a philosophy.
Right. That's wonderful. So I have time for two more questions. My next question is, based on all the wonderful work that you have done in the area of transformation, how do you see the future of transformation over the next 5 to 10 years?
Okay, 10 years is a lot.
Okay, 5 years.
5 years. I can see that due to the factors of experiences, knowledge shared about the famous failures, 70% of the failure, our transformation with the points that were weak or pitfalls. Now there is the third group of adopters in Gartner curve, that is the late adopters. No? They can find a different environment, different, upgraded, less bugs, and also an increased awareness of what they really need to do. So this balance will see, in my opinion, a growing number of firms that will increase the adoption, partially or full. We need to be careful that some consultancy, big four, try to sell all the package, but maybe you have a part. So it's also the fractioning of the implementation, and this will increase a lot. It's time, because 7 years since the first paper that I've seen that I was speaking about research about digital transformation, pitfalls. Now, also through the social media, professional one, people are more aware. If they want to pick up something to have knowledge or challenge, asking what are the pitfalls, and they have more knowledge, awareness, so they will move, because they need to do it. It's not our fault if everything on digital, right? And automation will be the same, because from what I've seen in my 4 projects, many of the features that I have seen now and the request of reducing bugs, the features are much higher than the beginning. Wow. Why? Because I read some reports in the past 4 years, and the bugs are very limited. So there is also the tendency to see something that is not faulty. Like the ERP, it took 20 years to reach a point where they are efficient, reliable, they work almost in an automatic way. But the technology development is going fast.
And my last question to you, Luca, and this is for so many people who will listen to our conversation. What advice would you give to businesses that are just starting their journey on automation and digital transformation?
Okay, I don't know if they will like it, but you start small, not only as intervention in your company, but you start small, meaning you start with automation.
Mm-hmm.
Because automation, we're speaking about the processes, a little bit of culture, experimentation, a little bit of innovation. So people get used, and you have some benefits that can be visible from your side and from people's side. In the meantime, try to think and rethink about why you want to go digital. A famous exercise, business strategies and growth, people are able to do. And getting more knowledge and awareness of what digital strategies are. So this is going parallel. You clarify your ideas, stop, you look at automation, because automation doesn't take long to do. But at the same time, people are more confident. They understood what is a transformation from the processes. And then you can scale up towards digital that is requiring a lot of more technology, a lot of more investments. Okay, so you are ready to review the starting point and clarify what you need to do. Apps, adaptation, whatever. Now I don't want to do the list of the.
No, I understand. I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
This is my view.
Fantastic. And on that note, Luca, thank you for speaking to me about transformation, about your own amazing journey. I learned so many different new things from you today on automation and digital transformation. Thank you for speaking to me, and good luck.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.